To make this Christmas gift bag, you'll need a piece of fabric measuring 14 inches by 11 inches and a piece of ribbon that measures approximately 28 inches in length. Now the width of my ribbon measures 15 millimeters or about 5/8 of an inch, but you could go thinner, just don't go any thicker than that. Now I'm just going to move the ribbon out of the way for the moment and turn over my fabric. Now as you can see here, I've already folded over the fabric 1/4 of an inch at the top and pressed it nicely. Now make sure you do this on the long edge of the fabric. I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to measure down from the top at the 3.5 inch line and draw a mark. And then I'm going to do the same at the 2 3/4 inch line. And maybe line up your ruler a little better than I did when you do this. Now we want to fold the bag over with right sides facing, and we'll be sewing along here with a 1/4 inch seam, and we'll start with the back stitch and we'll do the same at the top. I'm just going to add some pins to keep everything in place, and then I'll sew down the edge, and when I get to the first line I'm going to stop there and then I'm going to do a back stitch, and you can see that there now. Just doing the back stitch and then just break off the thread, and then I'll move down to the second line and again line it up and then start off with a back stitch just like that, and then we'll just come down and sew down to the bottom. Now when you get to the bottom, just do another back stitch just to hold it in place. And you can see how the bag should look here. Now you should have an opening in the side of the bag, and now what we want to do is move the seam into the middle and we want to press it open. Now you can just go ahead and finger press it all down, or you can use your iron if you want to get a more crisp result. Now once it's pressed, we want to find that opening, and you can see there I'm poking my finger through it, and we want to draw a mark directly below the opening. So just below it. And then what we'll do is we'll grab our ruler and we'll draw a line 1/4 of an inch below the mark that we've just made. Okay, so if we zoom in there, you'll see the original mark that I made, and then 1/4 of an inch below is the line that I drew. Now I want to continue this line all the way around the bag, so you can see that I'm making some marks on both sides, and then I'm going to flip it over and then I'll continue to draw the line. So we'll have that nice line drawn all the way across the bag, all the way around. Now we want to turn over the top so that comes down to meet the line that we just drew. And what we're going to do is line that all up nicely, and then we're going to add some pins just to keep everything in place while we sew it. So then we'll take it to the machine and we'll sew along that edge about 1/8 of an inch all the way around the bag, stopping and starting with the back stitch. So let's turn the bag through to the other side, because what we want to do now is to sew along the other side of the opening. So again, I find the opening and then I'm going to draw a mark just above it, and then I'll grab my ruler and draw a line straight across. And again, I'm just going to draw some marks on either side like I did before, and then I'll just grab my ruler and I'll continue that line right along so that I have a line all the way around the bag. You can see that I'm doing that there, lining up those 2 marks that I made. So it's back to the sewing machine, and as you can see I'm starting with a back stitch, and then I'll just sew all the way around on that line that I've drawn, and when I get to the end I'll just sew another back stitch. And you can see how it looks there with the 2 lines of stitching. That's to put our ribbon through. Now we just need to sew around the top of the bag with about 1/8 of an inch from the top, just to create a nice finish. Okay, so we're just about there. Now all we need to do is turn the bag through to the reverse side, and we want to move our seam line to the side now. You know, we've had it down the middle at the back before. Well, now we want to move it to the side. And then what we're going to do is sew along the bottom with a 1/4 inch seam. Now I started and ended with a back stitch. Let's turn the bag through and get it looking all neat and tidy. Just push out those corners. I used my apple corer to push the corners through, but you could use your pair of scissors or a chopstick. Just be careful that you don't tear through your stitching or your fabric. Now it's time to add our ribbon. Now I'm going to attach a safety pin to the end of my ribbon, and this will help me push it through the opening. You could also use a bodkin if you have one. That makes a really nice easy job of this, or even a longer safety pin, but I just had a quilting pin on hand, so that's what I used. And you just gather the material up onto the pin and then just pull it through, and you just keep going until you come to the other end, and when you get there just pop your finger into the end just to keep the seam back and pull the pin through. As you can see I'm doing that there, and then you just pull it through until it's even on both sides. And there you have it, a nice, quick and easy gift bag. So if you've enjoyed this tutorial, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you in the next video.